Samantha once again, we're about to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Brian. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics or commentaries or randomness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Also, if throughout this or any other videos you see like little skips and stuff, I apologize. I don't know if it's the webcam, I don't know if it's the laptop, computer, I don't know if there's no antivirus, I don't know if there's something in the background just pops up whenever it wants to, I don't know if it's the editing software, because sometimes I put like a picture or something, I don't know what it is, so I apologize ahead of time, because I don't know what else to do about it. But here it's for Demolition Man, and I'm paused at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. I'm at the Warner Bros. Logo. I'm getting to 10 seconds right now. Yes, we have the Los Angeles burning fire 1996, which I know that dates the film because 96 wasn't that bad, but you know, it's still a movie. The State from New York, you say the same thing as well. But yeah, Demolition Man, I love this film. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, and very prophecy foretold, so to speak. But it's also a fun, exciting action film, has a good sense of humor. Now, this helicopter pilot on the right will later be the older Zachary Lamb, who Stallone talks to, and says, "Oh, you're a damn good pilot." And one of my favorite Stallone characters, John Spartan. Directed by Marco Brambilla. This was a guy who was a TV commercial director who did not have much experience making a film, and if from what I heard, David Fincher had told Joel Silver, the producer, "Hey, why don't you check out this guy?" Now, from what I understand, the original idea was supposed to be Steven Seagal as the good guy and Jean-Claude Van Damme as the bad guy, but then Van Damme's like, "I don't want to play the bad guy. Can I play the good guy?" And then Steven Seagal's like, "I'm not going to play the bad guy either." And then Stallone eventually said yes. Wesley Stipes said no a few times, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, fine." Now the film, I guess, went a bit over schedule because the director just never did. This is a great stunt. That's crazy. That's a hell of a rappel, so to speak. And it starts with a bang. Like, you show John Spartan as the Demolition Man. And for a guy that has not directed films in general, he handles the action scenes with solid expertise. And there's definitely a good editing work here, which I'll get to that in a minute. But it definitely moves at a good pace. And there's definitely a bit of style where even going the corridor, there's a bit of like a camera tilt. You know, smashes it right through the fucking window. "Get your ass down!" We have Wesley Stipes, one of my favorite roles. This and Blade 2 are definitely... yeah, they're my favorite Wesley Stipes. This might be my favorite character he's played, to be honest, because he's so much fun as the villain. He's having a ball and a half. Now, what's funny is there's a teaser of the film on YouTube, and that has dialogue that's not in the scene. Because during this scene, Phoenix actually says, "You don't have to pull my... you have to reach down my throat, pull out my heart." Now, that's in the teaser, which it's like a minute long, you can find on YouTube, but it's not in this. And that leads into, this film went through a bit of an editing battle. They got the guy who worked on editing duties for other films. I think also Warner Brothers Tango and Cash. Maybe even Cobra as well. If not, I know Cobra got a lot taken out. I think the Showdown Low Tokyo, a lot of Warner Brothers stuff around this era. And what's sad about it is that there's a lot of stuff taken out that we never will get to see. I mean, there's the whole bit with Stallone and Jesse Ventura had a fight scene that they even talked about on WCW in an interview, and then that was cut out. Just Stallone would fight a lot of inmates at the finale. That was cut out. Great firework. I mean, you still having actors around real live fire. And, no CGI fire. Might not seem like a big deal, but it is. Compared to nowadays. In a way, Spartan and Simon Phoenix is kind of like Batman and the Joker. Because Simon Phoenix definitely has a Joker vibe to him with his sense of humor. Now, of course, that line will pop up later. Lose my head was attached. I'll keep that in mind. Before I go further, the explosion is insane. It's like, hey, we're blowing up this building. Let's use it. And they did. This is fantastic. This is like one of the best explosions of a building in film. That is just gargantuan. That is fucking insane. That's a way to open up a movie. Like, that's a hell of an explosion. And also credit to the composer. I think it's Elliot Goldenthal. His score for Alien 3 is one of the only things worth a shit in Alien 3. And I think he worked on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And he did the score for this. I think this is one of his better scores. Now, this captain here would be the top here he's talking to. I forget his name. He's a captain in Lethal Weapon. So I think that's where Joel Silver knows him from. But yeah, this cop that Stallone is talking to, he's the captain to Riggs and Murtaugh in the Lethal Weapon films. He also had a bit role in Predator 2, among others. Here, pretty much Stallone's character gets framed, and Simon Phoenix definitely had that planned out. Well, maybe not specifically planned, but he definitely embellished it. Right there. But I was talking about the editing, like, a lot of stuff got cut out. For example, Stallone's character, John Spartan, he mentions he has a daughter. That daughter character was in this movie. In fact, Dennis Leary, his buddies underground, one of them was supposed to be the daughter. In fact, there's a girl that Stallone's protecting. That's the character's daughter. Why they decided to cut that out, I have no fucking clue. I mean, yeah, I get that this cut right now is 1 hour and 55 minutes, and they want it under 2 hours, but, that seems pretty damn... I would like to have seen that subplot went to its full potential. Sandra Bullock, funny enough, she wasn't first cast. It was Lori Petty, who was in Tank Girl, Point Break. From what I understand, Lori Petty was fired like 2 days in. I forget where she said this, but pretty much her and Stallone did not get along. In her words, her and Sylvester Stallone were like oil and water. And, that's not going to work because there's supposed to be a love interest. There's supposed to be, by the end, then, Stallone still had power. Even though his career was kind of floundering because he had this string of flops. He had an 89 Tango and Cash did okay, but not great. 1990, you had Rocky V that didn't do well. Oscar, which I liked, that didn't do well. Stopping My Mind Will Shoot was a disaster at the box office. And I don't even hate that film like other people do. I could watch it for what it is. but his films were not doing that well. And then Cliffhanger Demolition Man kind of helped Stallone. And this film was not like a gargantuan box office hit. It made like 50-some million in the U.S. It's funny, if you look at the... It kind of had the same gross as Last Action Hero, but Last Action Hero was deemed more of a flop, while this was deemed more of a hit. Whether it's because of expectation, whether because maybe the budget of this was lower, and also Last Action Hero had a lot more hype. I can imagine this must have been pretty damn scary. I mean, it's still pretty much you almost this close to drowning. And you see that it's Stallone in there. You're pretty much naked. This water, I don't know if it's heated or not, if it's warm, if it's cold. And it's still like, you're close to getting drowned, as possible. Yeah, Elliot Goldenthal did the music. And I thought he did a good job for this. Again, I would say this and Alien 3 are his better scores. Musical scores. But this is a cool idea, the whole cryogenic prison thing. And yeah, it definitely turns a prophecy into reality. Just the future where people don't want to touch each other. Pandemic. Running out of toilet paper. Here are the 3 seashells. Being super PC. You can't curse. You can't do this. Yeah, Stuart Baird, he's the editor. He definitely... Warner Bros. Would hire him. I think on Showdown Low Tokyo and Tango and Cash before this. If they need to cut a bunch of stuff down. And like I said, find that cut somewhere. Again, the Stallone find the inmates at the end before he gets to Wesley Stipes. The fight scene he has with Jesse Ventura. When he's at Dennis Leary's place, underground place. And you can find this picture online. There's a picture of Stallone and Wesley Stipes hanging from a catwalk. And that's because there's a shot, which I'll get to, where someone shoots and the catwalk goes over. If you look closely, Stallone is on that catwalk. But the movie doesn't tell us that. Because they're supposed to be hanging there, and I think that's when Wesley goes, "Oh, remember those people I killed in the building? They're already dead." That's why in the car chase later, you don't really hear, you don't hear Wesley Stipes say the dialogue with his lips. We just hear it, because that was ADR. So they put the ADR into that car chase, which that'll be much later. But yeah, I always enjoy this film. I saw this on VHS back in the day. I've enjoyed it ever since. And in this world of everyone's so polite and so super PC, and how that's not really a great future in either. Mellow greetings, salutations, be well, or as Stallone would say, be fucked. Like, this is a very funny movie. But yeah, 1993 was still one of Stallone's bigger years. Because, again, after a series of flops, Cliffhanger and this, it made money overseas, this film. And again, it did okay in the box office, enough to people go, maybe, kind of a hit. But this was not like a $100 million blockbuster hit. I mean, that's why there was a part of me that said, was this a hit? Was it technically a hit? Isn't it? It made like, it cost almost as much as it made in the box office in the U.S. Almost as the same. So I don't know. It's deemed a hit. But yeah, this is a film that I think gets overlooked. People look at, I don't understand the complaints this film gets. I don't think it deserves it, in my opinion. I think this is a very smart, witty movie. And Sandra Bullock, I'm a big fan of. My favorite actress. I think because I just enjoy her demeanor, her personality. She could be funny. She could do serious like The Blind Side and Gravity, but she could do comedic like this. I just saw the trailer. She's doing like a Romancing the Stone type of film with Channing Tatum called The Lost City for next year. Didn't think it looked that bad, actually. It looked alright. It didn't look too bad. But Sandra Bullock, this. So bigger project. There is as roles or I don't agree with Dennis Leary. Compared to a filmography, maybe because it's a minute, and of course ironic because him and Stallone would be in another sci-fi film a few years later called Judge Dredd, and that didn't work out. We see how they don't touch. That's kind of like today, like don't touch. And this, of course, I can't think of them right now. And Bob Gunton here, who would be the evil warden in the Shawshank Redemption. He was also in this TV show that only lasted a year called Greg the Bunny. He was also in Bats, the Lou Diamond Phillips film, as the scientist who goes a bit batshit, pun intended. But yeah, he was definitely great as the warden in Shawshank Redemption, and he does a good job here as the captain who's just over his head. And this is the machine that, don't be surprised if this machine comes truthful later. That fucking punishes you for cursing and punishes you for, you know, the minor of offenses. And also, in a way, with Sandra Bullock, her being a fan of nostalgia. What's going on nowadays? People being, I mean, I'm nostalgia too. I got stuff here, so I know how that goes. But it's even more so today. Of course, Lethal Weapon 3. Which I'm surprised is not the first Lethal Weapon. But, you know, Lethal Weapon 3 had just come out like the year before this. And yeah, Joel Silver produced this. I know on the DVD, like, the only feature was like a commentary with the director and Joel Silver together. I'm like, come on. Where's the deleted scenes? Why does this not have a documentary? Especially with the way the world is nowadays, this is screaming for a special edition. Again, you look at the way the world is nowadays, why should this not be a special edition? Stallone, that's the thing, Sly, do a commentary on this film. Do interviews for this film. Same with Wesley Stipes. Wesley Stipes has not, it's not like he's busy. I'm sorry. Stipes is not busy. Stallone, stop, you know, doing Rocky films and Rambo. Don't do Rambo 6 or whatever the hell you want to do. Let's have a documentary. Let's have special edition. Let's have the deleted scenes. If you can't do an extended cut, let us see the deleted scenes. Get them from the vault. There's plenty of special features you could put with this film. With the films that do this special edition, it's just ridiculous that this doesn't have one. Teddy Bear, he knew the code for the cuffs. And Wesley Stipes, established martial artist. But from what I understand, he was going too fast. They would blur the camera. So he literally had to slow it down. He literally had to slow down the his movements. Simon Says Die. There you go. Damn. Yoo-hoo! But yeah, you ain't, you know, you ain't having this shit. Ain't no work, there you go. I see you. You see this? Back to the day where you just show in an action film, I should say. Of course, the future's become so quaint they don't even know what 187 is. But yeah, the film, I think, just has a lot of good ideas. And that's the thing, when this came out, people thought this future was so ridiculous. It's not ridiculous anymore. I always thought it was a neat idea to have... We've seen many futures where everything is ugly, the Terminator, Stiff in New York. Do the opposite, where things are too clean. And that could be an issue too. And this showed that, and that's where we're going. If people don't listen. That's where we're going. But yeah, sorry, I did a drink there. I wonder how the hell that computer knows what he has, internal wound-wise. But yeah, the guy sitting down with the... next to Sandra Bullock, that's Zachary Lamb. That's, I think Bill Cobb is his name, the actor. And he was the helicopter pilot in the beginning of the film. That's another thing that was cut out. That guy actually in the first cut. Lamb, the black that's in this scene, the black guy. He died when Wesley Stipes escaped in Leary's lair. And eventually Stallone and Sandra Bullock got into the old school car and chased after him. They would find Zachary Lamb's dead body. That's how Wesley Stipes got the car. He shoot this guy talking. Wesley Stipes killed him and took the car. And they cut that out. I know Stallone said in some Q&A a year ago, oh, we're going to do Demolition Man 2. Why? I mean, for what purpose? What's the point of doing a Demolition Man 2? What other story is there to tell? The future, did it get too dirty? Is it still not dirty enough? I mean, the story ended. What more can you do? Don't worry about a sequel. Do a special edition. Do a documentary. Talk to Wesley Stipes. Talk to the director. Talk to Stallone. Talk to some of these supporting actors. Hell, Rob Schneider even. Got Bill Cobb if he's still around. Hopefully he's still around. People who did design the sets, or even if you want to talk to Elliot Goldenthal. There's a number of people you talk to. But yeah, Sandra Bullock I'm a big fan of. Like I mentioned before, Lori Petty, who was in the Keanu Reeves film. She would be in Taint Girl. She was hired, and again, 2 days later, she was fired for creative differences. But again, I forget where she said it. Pretty much her and Stallone were like oil and water. So again, they're supposed to be love interests. If they're not getting along, or they're getting along that badly, obviously badly enough, they fired her after 2 days. And then they got Sandra Bullock. And I forget what Sandra Bullock did before this. What, films like Love Potion Number 9? But then after this, you had Speed, then The Net, and then A Time to Kill, Speed 2. She did that for the paycheck to get her other film, Hope Floats. And then after that, films like The Blind Side, Gravity, things of that nature. But yeah, always been a fan of Sandra Bullock. And Wesley Snipes, love his personality. He's just so much fun, just so much energy, just so much of a wise ass. He's an entertaining villain to watch. And then the haircut, the styling. From what I understand, Dennis Rodman loved this look, and he's just stole it for any time he would change his hair to similar to the Simon Phoenix. I guess Wesley Stipes hated it so badly, as soon as he could, he shaved the shit off when the movie was done. Which, I mean, I guess I could see where, you know, I would not want that blonde hair. The Joker. Nigel Hawthorne or Nigel, I forget his last name. He's the guy who pretty much got this Wes Stipes character out to kill the vermin that, oh my god, they're doing graffiti. But the movie's also genuinely funny. Come on, Hal, we're the goddamn guns. We're the goddamn guns. What? Fuck you. Yeah, whatever. Fuckers are fast, too. Yeah, that's right here. Fast, too. Yeah, but I've seen this film a lot. And I think that's also why in this fight scene, Wesley seems not kind of clunky. Not clunky, that's the wrong word. Because he was going so fast, he had to slow it down. And I think also he knows these guys are nothing. I mean, look, you got a fucking computer to tell him you need to lie down on the ground. So he knows these guys are a joke. I mean, they don't have guns. They have these stun batons. They're nothing. But these guys are just worthless wastes of space. Has responded with a scornful remark. So as he's doing this, he's just, I think the way Stipes carries, he's like posing. He's having fun because he knows this is nothing. These guys didn't do shit to him. He just knows it. And you know, also an interesting part of the film is because the guy wanted to use him as an assassin, he gave him all this knowledge, including how to hack into this. Lucky number 7. You fried. You're fried. Hey. Would I trade a hell this kind of violence? It's interesting for the outfit he's wearing. I mean, obviously not by choice. That's what the future has for this kind. But I don't know, he looks like an overgrown Dennis the Menace with this outfit. But that, again, this is a guy that doesn't know how to of this story. This is how in a reason as to why they would need this guy. She needed this device to tell him to break the sweat. In fact, he's joking the whole. He'll probably kill the entire force. Inept. And there's Benjamin Bratt, which, funny enough, I think the two of them would work together in Miscongeniality. Seen in a while. But I just realized that those two actually work together in Miscongeniality. Edgar friendly. This is kind of a look into the future with Zoom, Skype, StreamYard. I mean, if you think of like a Skype call, well, Skype, that was StreamYard. I mean, if you think of a Zoom StreamYard call, that's kind of what this is. I mean, obviously not specifically with each screen, but it would be just a computer screen. But it's the fact that you're doing a board meeting with no one, other people physically there. Like nowadays, you would do a meeting like this, and no one would physically be there because we had to stay indoors. At least during the bigger parts of the pandemic. So again, this film actually did a lot of prophecies being foretold in this movie. But doing it in an entertaining manner, too. Now, this guy here, where later on Dennis Leary says looks like a couch, of course, he was ortho. Beetlejuice went, and the clothes fell away, and it was this really garish, like, ugly-looking suit. Is that and then runs away. Ortho? I didn't. I don't remember his name either. I recognize it in the credits. I think Dr. Cocteau is like the czar of this world. And they did their job. Like, obviously the way the people in this world were brought up, the way their dialogue, like the fiendish Simon Phoenix. Like, this is how people were taught. This is how what they were brought up to believe in. This type of behavior. The Demolition. Over 1,000 arrests in 3 years. That's pretty damn impressive. Fuck you, lady. Good answer. But how I mean, that's kind of the... How do you get 1,000 arrests in 3 years? That's like 3 a day. Because, over 300, over 300 days a year, 365. 3 years. 369. That's like... 369... 9,150... 80... Anyway. That'd be like getting 3 arrests a day. I mean, that's like Will Chamberlain numbers of how many women he laid, supposedly. Or maybe he's like, oh, the ground will shoot you in the balls. Just, find, even if it's a pickpocket, find him and arrest his ass. But yeah, 1993 was such a, to me, a good year for movies. I mean, Hard Target was 93, Cliffhanger 93, Demolition Man, The Last Action Hero, which I like. What was the other movie? Of course, Jurassic Park. And that's the thing, like, when you look at the first couple years of a new decade, they have remnants of the old decade. Like, you look at the first 2 or 3 years of the 80s, this disco feel of the 70s. Or more of the dirty grindhouse feel of the 70s. I think the same with the 90s. The first 2-3 years of the 90s still had that 80s feel of the action hero or the one-man army. Like, this is still a remnant of an 80s movie, but with a 90s paint gloss, with the humor, the technology, but still that mano a mano, good versus evil, that was a pinnacle of the 80s. Same with Hard Target, same with, you know, Cliffhanger and more. This Tapped is a dick. I'm not sure he's no better than Simon Phoenix. Well, fuck you, buddy. 2032. Not too far off now. A little over 10 years late, I mean. Not too far. Almost, yeah, 11 years. No, did it say 2032? So, yeah, almost, yeah, 10 years. Big one 2010. That definitely didn't happen. That's so crazy to think that 2010 is now an old, like, 10 years ago. Jesus. You know, it's funny, I don't even remember what movies came out in 2010. I'd have to literally look it up. Like, what films did come out in 2010? I don't even remember. That's so crazy. Simon Phoenix has had 11 murder-death kills. Does that mean every cop there he killed too? Like, I figure he just beat him up or knocked him out. Did all those cops die when he fought them by the little computer thing? Because they literally only killed like 3 people in the prison. But if that's 11, so that's, you know, 8 more. Or has he killed people without us knowing? No caffeine, no red meat, nothing spicy, no cursing. Pretty much all the fun taken out of it. Chocolate, gasoline, uneducational toys. What does that mean, uneducational toys? How would that register? I guess if it hears you playing a video game, you get fined? Like, this Blu-ray has nothing on it for features. I mean, I don't even remember if it has the commentary from the DVD. I think it does. I think it does, but don't quote me on it. Because I listened to it once. It really wasn't much to run home about, but... Oh, this is the 3 seashell thing. Now, if I understand, the writer, I guess, thought of this idea because I want to have something a bit unique in the future, like in the bathroom. What could... So he called someone, and the person was in the bathroom at the time, and he looked around. There was some like seashell decorations. So, well, I see this, I see this. There's some seashell decorations. Oh, I'll use that. Now, Stallone in a Q&A, I think it was either for Rocky Balboa or Rambo 4, he did a Q&A with Ain't No Cool News. And he said, I think the 3 seashells is kind of like use 2 of them like chopsticks and the third to clean the rest. I don't know how you wash the 3 seashells, like how you wash them. Is everyone using the dirty ass seashells? But I guess you're not supposed to. It's just a weird thing. One of the mysteries the world will never know. Shit, you're a damn good flyer. This is one of my favorite bits. Again, the humor works rather well. That fucking pain in the ass. That's coming up a bit. I love this bit. It's hilarious. They allow you shipbraid, fuck face, ball breaking, the fucking pain in the ass. So much for the 3 seashells. That would work. San Angeles Police Department. I know for its anniversary, what was it? Somewhere in Comic-Con, Taco Bell did like a I don't know how long, like a few days, where it looked like the restaurant in this movie. But again, the movie deserves a lot more. I mean, this has more going for it than most action films today. I'm sorry. It's looked at society, but it's also an exciting action film. You have a fun hero, a fun villain, good supporting cast, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Leary. I mean, hell, even Rob Schneider's not that bad. Blinking you miss him, you'll see Jack Black. He's one of the people with Dennis Leary's gang underground. But it's just sad, like, all these films, like, there's so much deleted material that Warner Brothers either still has in the vault or threw away. Like, Showdown Low Tokyo, the Dolph Lundgren Brandon Lee film, was a lot longer of a movie. But a lot of stuff was cut out. That's why the film is like 70 minutes long. I love the film Showdown Low Tokyo, but I'd love to see what that deleted footage was. Cobra. The rumor is that at one point there was a 2-hour word print that no one has been able to find ever since. And sadly, I think is long gone. Long gone. Sadly. That was a much more violent version of the movie. I would love to see that, because I'm a big fan of Cobra, but I don't think we will ever see it. Here. The way Simon Phoenix did that, man, you could never get away with in this PC state. And it's like, he's the villain. It's meant to be a joke, humor, but he's also the fucking villain. He's a villain. That's so weird in today's age. You can't have the bad guy say that. Oh, so the bad guy can kill someone and murder someone and cut someone's head off, but make sure their language is PC. If you could explain that to me, I would love to fucking understand it. Because it makes no sense to me. Again. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. You drive. There you go. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, just weird with the state of affairs of today. I don't get it. And Stallone just, here's the thing with Sylvester, before I get to that. The idea that the radio station plays all these commercials, which is funny because you look at the nostalgia era of today, wanting the past so badly, radio could be turned to just these old school commercials. Which, I mean, I'm guilty of it too, because sometimes I like watching 90s TV commercials on YouTube. So, I'm guilty of it as well. You know what's weird about that Son Armour hot dog? One of the lines is literally tall kids, sissy kids, What does it mean by sissy kid? Like sissy as in... He's a sissy. He's a pussy. Like sissy? Did the Armor Hot Dog really call kids sissy? You're a sissy. Or is it a sissy like... I guess wimp. I guess it meant wimp. I always thought it was funny that... Yeah, Rambo. Doesn't he like punch it? I love his reaction here. It's hilarious. Motherfucker! Oh, mother... Again, also world building within this, like, this guy going, what's your boggle? What seems to be your boggle? Again, that's such a weird term, but it fits in this world, and you're creating bits and pieces to fully make this world a reality. And this is a world of people being so naive, so naively oblivious, innocent, whatever you want to call it, that all this stuff they wouldn't expect. We're the laser guns. Phaser guns. But yeah, Stallone at this time, this is why I rag on Stallone so much nowadays. Not because I hate the guy. It's the opposite. I rag on him a lot because I love the guy. I actually do. I grew up with the guy's work. I know what he can do. I know what he's capable of. And the roles he would take. Hell, The Specialist has his problems. Assassins has his problems. But then he would do a Demolition Man. A Cliffhanger. You know, the Rambo films, before this. I love, sincerely, Over the Top and Cobra. And... you know, I just looked at these films today. I'm like, these are his last years of movies. No one can make movies forever. These are the golden years, as they call it. And instead of putting his talent into making films like, whether taking a chance, do a film like Drive with Ryan Gosling or Mandy with Nicolas Cage, either doing these weird off-kilter crazy movies like Nick Cage does, and sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not, but at least he did like a Mandy or Willy's Wonderland, or to really go the Clint Eastwood, the route he does, and directing films, and getting really good dramatic arts, like if Stallone had done a detective story like True Detective, Season 1. I did these things, and it just, no, let's do a Steve Plan. No, let's do Rambo 5. No, let's do Creed movies. It just... I know he can do better. I know he can do better. And it just... it's a shame, because... all these projects he could do. Bring back Isobar and try to do that. Even if it was Roland Emmerich, maybe Roland Emmerich would do it nowadays. And the character, Stallone can play an older scientist type of character. And maybe it would better that he's older. And Rick Baker, hey, do one final bit. Do the film. Go back and you guys get together and do Isobar. Do Hunter. Do all these other ideas. But no, we can't do that for some reason. I mean, these two just worked so well together. And then, like, Wesley Stipes at this time, I mean, he was a rising talent. I mean, by this time, he had been in Why Men Can't Jump, which was fun, and it was a box office hit. He was in New Jack City, which was a hit, and he did a great job in that. He had worked with, I think he was in a Spike Lee movie. Major League, that was a hit. That was in the 80s, and that's a fun film. Passenger 57. I think that was before this. Because that was, what, 92 or so? And then I think he was filming Rising Sun. And then went and did this role. Rising Sun wasn't that good. It might have made money, though. I don't know. Rising Sun might have made money, but I don't think it was that good of a film. And then he did this film. Did a good job on the stunt people. The way they crash through. That's real people doing it in camera. Again, I will give credit to the editing. It's very tightly paced during these action sequences. It doesn't seem like there's any wasted shots. Like that shot there is a showcase. The gun's been built up. Go to hell. And then you get an assortment of shots, but it's not confusing. All sorts of angles being used, but you still understand the environment. Those shots there that make it seem like they're very close to hitting Stallone in the face. You have your hero get some shots in, you do this back and forth, back and forth. There you go. You're on TV. Some of this is probably done by stunt people. I would say those far shots are more stunt people. Like the far away shots of him swinging the TV, I think that's a stunt person doing it. You forgot to say Simon Says. There you go, yeah. Shit. Hey, he got what he needed. He got his guns. He's gonna get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck out. But yeah, I was mentioning like Wesley Stipes at this time. He was having quite a few successful films. And I'm trying to think what he did after this in 94, like 95. I'm trying to think. Because Blade was 98. So I'm trying to think between this and that, what did he do? Well, Money Train was 95 and that was a bomb. Although I like Money Train, but that was a bomb. Oh yeah, there were a couple films he did that didn't do well. There was one, Murder 1600, which I did enjoy. That didn't do well. See, U.S. Marshals, that didn't do well. But again, they're films I do like and enjoy. They just, again, didn't do well. But yeah, you had Murder 1600, you had Money Train, which was a big bomb. But again, I don't think that film's as bad as people made it out to be. But I'm trying to think. I know there were others, but I can't think of them at the moment. And this is also a time when action films were starting to change. Because when Last Action Hero came out, but what was the biggest film of that year? Jurassic Park. So you have Stallone and Arnold coming out with big films, and none of them were as successful as Jurassic Park. I think people took notice. He really lit his ass. See, I think Sandra Bullock, the reason that works is because she's so sincere and thinking that right and correct. So sincere that she said, and really thought that was the saying. I think Sandra Bullock can pull those sincerity moments off rather well. And this where he invites him to the Taco Bell. He's like, oh, okay. The Taco Bell. I think that the joke of that is, with all the high fancy restaurants, the one that would survive is a fast food place. And that with how people look down on fast food, that's the only thing that would be around for the higher officials to go to. Now, I don't know if this is true, but from what I understand, the original idea was supposed to be Burger King. But they said no, and I guess McDonald's also said no, and then they went to Taco Bell. And it's too bad, because like McDonald's would have made sense to me. It just, overseas, because Taco Bell's not as popular, they actually dub it Pizza Hut. I actually think pizza would have been better. I don't know, just Taco Bell, it's a fun joke. I don't like Taco Bell at all. So, no, it's not me critiquing the film, it's just a personal grudge. I hate Taco Bell. I hate Taco Bell. I think they fucking suck. The last time I went to I've been to Taco Bell like twice in my life, and both times sucked. And the second time, I'm like, this is the last time. I bought a couple just tacos. I just want the meat. I just want the cheese. That's all I want. And they're so cheap. You buy a couple. Half of the order was wrong. And the other half that you eat, they tasted like paper. Like, the tacos taste like fucking paper. And whole Arnold Presidential Library, the irony is that a few years later, Arnold would be governor of California. Which, I think fucked Arnold up a lot. Granted, what also fucked him up was a lot of bad choices. Cheating on his wife with the fucking maid. Saying stupid shit like, if you do not take the... What was it that he said? Screw your freedom. If you do not take the vaccine, screw your free... He said something like, if you don't take the vaccine, screw your freedom. Something like that. Just being a fucking dumbass. Arnold, shut the fuck up, dude. Go somewhere else and say, get to the chopper 18 more times, man. I like Arnold, as in I liked his films, I liked his filmography, but I don't respect him as... I used to respect him a lot more. I don't really respect him much anymore. With the stupid shit he says, the bad choice... Arnold, you're not one to talk, dude. You cheated on your wife with the fucking maid. Didn't you have a kid with the maid as well? I know you cheated on your wife. So you're not really one to talk about morality or whatever. If you're cheating on your wife, you're not one to talk for lectures. And then shitty song choice... I mean, song... I say it because they're playing the Jolly Green Giant. Which makes sense because they established that the world with the radio is commercials... So they would be playing another commercial ditty. It's just funny, like, this is the most beautiful looking Taco Bell I've ever seen. But yeah, that's part of the joke. But yeah, I think Burger King and McDonald's would have been even funnier. Even then, that looks awful. Like, what the hell is that you're eating? Like, nothing looks like a taco. Is it like a piece of taco and a cracker or something? I wonder what they're drinking too, because if they don't have alcohol, is it just water? There's no caffeine, there's no alcohol, so again, would it be water, I guess? No, there's no salt. Which is weird, because they say, if it's not good for you, it's illegal. Taco Bell ain't fucking good for you either. So it's weird, like, Taco Bell won the franchise wars, but I'm like, Taco Bell ain't good for you, so wouldn't that be illegal too? Which is funny, like, fast food isn't good for you. That wouldn't be... if what's not good for you is illegal, Taco Bell ain't good for you. So wouldn't that be illegal too? But I don't know. It's not like people eat, like Subway would make, if you don't do that, it's like Subway may make more sense in that. But I do like Subway, and Subway, of the fast food, seems like Subway is the bit healthier. At least seems like that way for me. But I do like Subway, especially like the turkey and the bun with like it's like a little like cheese thing in the bun. I forget what it's called. But this is a good emotional part for John Spartan. That he was awake for the whole time. My wife beating her fist against a block of ice that used to be her husband. Would have been more humane to stay me down, leave me to the fucking crows. This is a fun bit though. Thanks? I don't know. Thanks? And of course, as a cop who has intuition, he would be the first to notice this compared to these guys who are just oblivious. And Stallone doesn't know this. He doesn't know what's going on, so he thinks he's doing the right thing until he realizes all they're trying to do is just get food. But he doesn't know that, so that's what I do think the writing, the script is underrated for this. And the credits, there are some who liked it. I think Roger Ebert gave it a thumbs up on Siskel and Ebert. But a lot of critics did not give this a fair shake. Which is weird. I mean, I looked at what the critics love nowadays. Like, they love The Last Jedi. They love Shang-Chi. They love Black Widow. But, they didn't like this? What the fuck? Like, the action scenes work better. The production works better. The editing works better. The story, the script works better. The humor is funnier. The effects, it's done practically for real. And you cannot get more real than real. Like this here. Even this little bit here. It's still, it's not like a big action scene, but it works for its intended purpose. Taco Bell food. But what is that in that thing? I'm trying to, like, that Taco Bell can thing. Like, what is that? It looked like little balls of stuff, but I don't know what that is. Now, Stallone said he wants to do a Demolition Man 2. But you know what? If this was 1996 or 97, yeah, I would be open to a sequel. In which, okay, this is what this city looks like. What does the whole in this world? Because you see what this city looks like, but what does the rest of the country look like? I mean, if you had commercials a la RoboCop, where it showed us what the world was like. What are other cities? Are there different cults, different groups, different 2PC establishments in the other places of the country, let alone the world? That could be interesting. Is it even more PCs somewhere else? Is it more with different architecture, different themes, different... Like, that could be interesting. But nowadays, what, it would be, what, clone Wesley Stipes? Someone found the blood of Simon Phoenix because he had a broken... Remember, he got his head broken? And yeah, the whole place blew up, but there's a piece of frozen blood, and they take the blood that's frozen, and like Jurassic Park, they clone it. And they're cloning Simon Phoenix, and he's back, and he wants revenge on John Spartan. Only this time, John Spartan and Sandra Bullock have a daughter. And the daughter helps her dad, or the daughter, I mean... I don't know. It's too late. It's too late. It's like a lot of these guys. It's like you had your chance, and it's too late, man. It's like Jim Carrey. I want to do The Mask 2. I want to do another Ace Ventura. You had your chance, man. I'm sorry. Some of us, speak for myself, don't want to see a 70-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old Ace Ventura or fucking Mask, Stanley Ipkiss. Wait, what was his character? Stanley... Yeah, Ipkiss. Almost said Stanley Goodspeed, but I think that's Nick Cage and The Rock. But yeah, I think Stanley Ipkiss. Like, it's too late. I didn't need to see an old Rambo in Rambo 5, and that was a lame movie. I don't need to see an 80-year-old Indiana Jones. That's why I don't care about Indiana Jones 5. Sometimes you have to put away the fucking old toys. This is done. I can still enjoy my toys, my old movies, but to keep digging up that grave of nostalgia, sometimes enough is enough, man. And I think Stallone, he's doing it because he knows those are the films that will get in the movie theaters. When his films started going direct-to-video, like Escape Plan 2 and Escape Plan 3 and Bat Trace, oh shit, I need a movie in the theater, Rambo 5. And then maybe this Samaritan movie. Because he's done that before. He knew when he got into the mid-2000s, his career was going downhill, and he was doing direct-to-video films like Avenging Angelo, I See You, which I like, I rather enjoy. That got dumped straight to video, which did not deserve that in my opinion. I think that's an underrated film. I really do like I See You. I'm trying to think what else there was. God, now I'm trying to think. There's other stuff, but did I have I See You over here? No, I think okay, I have that somewhere else. Yeah, I think do I have that over here? Sorry, yeah, it's right there. It's right in front of me. Duh. It's right there. The Blu-ray of I See You, okay. Duh. But when those films were going to video, like Avenging Angelo, and he did one called Shade, which was a poker movie. You had him going, you know what, I'm going to do Rocky Balboa, and then I'm going to do Rambo 4, and then that led to The Expendables. All three films I enjoy. But then he did Bullet in the Head, or Bullet to the Head, whatever the hell, Bullet to the Head. He did Escape Plan, lackluster Expendable sequels, and it went down again. Bullet to the Head did not help. Escape Plan didn't help. The boxing movie, Grudge Match, did not fucking help. And they were either lame, bad, forgettable, altogether. And then going direct-to-video again. Escape Plan 2 and 3, direct-to-video. Bat Trace, direct-to-video. And they tried, like, hey, let me try to do it again with fucking Rambo 5. Maybe, Demolition Man 2. I don't know if this is true. I heard he wanted to do Tango and Cash too, and Caruso said, nah, man, nah. Which I don't blame Kurt, Sally. I don't blame Caruso, Sally. Because I think Kurt knows it's past the time. Kurt seems to know that. That's why you don't... Like, Caruso did Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But he knows kind of past the expiration date. But I know, sorry, I skipped over a bunch of stuff I got on the tangent. Now here you have the VR, which this looks like the Oculus Rift. What you would see later. Well, it doesn't exactly look like the Oculus Rift. Actually goes over your eyes, but I know, I've heard that the Oculus Rift, there's people wanting like virtual sex, kind of like this. Because again, if we haven't learned anything, whatever can do stuff with porn or sex will be the thing that will be successful. VHS. One of the reasons it beat Betamax was because porn was more on VHS. And, you know, people will follow the porn and people will follow sex. And if they get something that really drives in the sex portions, people will buy it. Hell, I will probably fucking buy one. What am I talking about? If you had a VR set, and it's like, oh, I'm going to have sex, you know, I'd probably buy one too. So, I can't be hypocritical on that. But, like Stallone will say, the real thing is better. Fluid transfer? Bonin, the wild mamba, the hunka chunka. But I mean, that's another thing. Like, you don't really hear any of the people who made this talking about the film nowadays. Like, I think Stallone is proud of the film. I think he says, you know what, that was a good action film. And again, the fact that he's open to doing a Demolition Man 2. But it's funny, like, that's the thing, like, you look at the other people. You look at Caruso, Tango and Cash. You look at Sandra Bullock, at Wesley Stipes. You look at other people, they don't really... It's Stallone that wants to do stuff from the past. And I think, again, it's because there's that part of them that wants to... It sounds stupid, but he wants to be loved. And I can understand that. We all do. But it's like, hey, you know, you want a film to go into theaters, and you want a film to be popular. You want it to be a hit. And, see, like a lot of films, he put his hands into it, writing-wise, rewriting. And, you know, there's some would argue that was not the right call. Although, granted, I enjoy a lot of his films. But you look at Stallone's career, a lot of them were not hits when you really look back on it. Look back in the 80s. Wait, I gotta stop because we're going to get a nice random titty shot. Which I miss 90s action films. Where you didn't have a film and just... We need some tits. So I'm waiting for that. Oh, he doesn't know how to use 3 seashells. That's okay, I don't know either. Yeah, this is the bit here where you get like the random titty shot. Was it like a wrong phone call, I guess? Wrong number? I tell you, I'm waiting for the... Come on, can you blame me? Titties. And God bless the 90s that you could just have a random titty moment. You don't get that nowadays, just be labeled sexist. Yes, guys think women are pretty, and they like seeing pretty women. Jesus Christ. Yeah, if it was the flip side around, and I'm like, wow, women are gonna think I look pretty, I would fucking do it for women. So, I mean... I forget, sorry, the titties distracted me, so I'm trying to think what the hell I was trying to say. But I was talking about Stallone. And... it's understandable the guy wants to be loved and but at the same time it's like... Time has passed. I feel like that announcer in Rocky 3... Balboa had a good run, but his time has passed. I hate saying that, but... You know what I want Stallone to do? I want him to do crazy, unique films like Nick Cage is doing. And some of them are not successful, but some of them are. Again, if Stallone was in a film like Mandy, if he was in a film like Willy's Wonderland, I would lose my fucking mind. And I'd be like, yes, Stallone! Okay, you have some bumps, but you got some of this. Yes, this is something unique and different, but it's just... It's like he wants to play it safe. And he thinks doing these type of films are the safe. Why do you think he's doing a superhero movie? Samaritan. Because superhero movies are popular now. And he wants to be the... He's going more the safe route. I think try to take a chance back to the day with Oscar and Stop a Mom Will Shoot. He got really burned. But I would rather watch those two. Escape Plan. Hate to say it. I always wanted Stallone to do a horror movie. And the closest we get is ICU, but like a monster movie or a movie like Predator or a movie like, I mean, but I mean, we're never going to see that, and that's sad. But yeah, the film itself, like the director, Sally did not go do a whole lot. I think he did a film with Alicia Silverstone called Excess Baggage. I think that was him, and it had Benicio del Toro. That was like maybe 97. But he didn't really do a whole lot after this. Again, because while the film was deemed, quote, a hit, it wasn't a huge like box office bonanza. I would bet Warner Brothers was disappointed in the results. They just, oh, it wasn't a complete flop like his earlier films. And Last Action Hero was such overhyped. Yeah, to share all of it, man. Sorry, I'm just... This is probably my... This is easily one of my favorite line deliveries. Is Stallone going to be fucked. That gets me every time. I think Stallone's delivery, the situation, the environment, just makes it sincerely funny. And also, like, you just want to see this guy just come up and Stallone pretty much telling him to go fuck himself is satisfying. Just satisfying to the viewer. Be well. Be fucked. Again, it's also like anytime someone curses, they always add the machine in the background. You've been fined 1 ticket, 1 demerit, 1 citation. I always thought that was like that was a smart piece of planning to keep that going and keep that. Damn, that thing was definitely getting to Stallone's face. When they were walking, like, there's a beam of light, like, almost shining Stallone's eyes. I think that's why when he's walking, there's a bit, like, he kind of moves over here, his face, before they turn the corner. Because you see, like a spot of light. He's probably doing this, like... I didn't break the scene. Don't put him in a hurt locker. And that's the thing. People make fun of Stallone, like, oh, he can't act. Away. Blow this guy away. Let's go blow this guy. See, like, that's a running joke that actually works compared to some movies nowadays, but God, what was I going to say? Oh, people say Stallone can't act. I'm sorry, when I look at Rocky Balboa or any of the Rocky films, I looked at the character of Rocky, I looked at the character of John Rambo, I looked at the character of Freddie Heflin from Coppola, and then I looked at this character, John Spartan. They're 4 different characters and 4 different performances. And sadly, that's another reason I think Stallone doesn't want to stray far from the path nowadays is Copland. Look what happened in Copland. He did a great job. He did a wonderful job. And nothing came of it. The movie did not do well. He got 0 awards recognition, which I thought was completely fucking bullshit. And he himself said, like, he's proud of the film, but technically it hurt his career. Because they thought, oh, he's done with action films, or he's done with this, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. And in a way, it's like, hey, I did this to get more respect, and he still didn't get it. And I think it's like, well, what the fuck else can I do? What else am I supposed to do? I think nowadays he kind of resigned to the fact of, fuck, I'm going to do movies that people expected of me, and stop trying. And I think that's what happened. He stopped trying. Which is a shame, because I'm one of those guys that believed in him and loved Copland. I loved ICU. I think his performance in ICU is one of his most underrated performances. But, Rap burger. It doesn't look bad as a burger. I mean, if you didn't tell anybody what it was, it doesn't look bad as a burger. I mean, that burger looked better than the... And he still ate the rest of it. I like that a little bit. I know it's... What do you mean? The typical thing would be he puked it up, he threw it away. No, the fact that he finished it, I don't know. Oh, some of this is the little things that I like and gravitate towards. I can't explain it. Just, again, so many times, it's what? That's like typical. They didn't do that. He finished it off. He's like, yeah, okay. He's like, what? Okay, and he still finishes it. 1970 Oldsmobile 442. But yeah, Sandra Bullock definitely... Well, I already mentioned after this. Oh yeah, Jack Black. Keep an eye out for Jack Black. But he's in this bit. He's part of this group. Let's see, where are you? Sorry, Benjamin Bratt, Sandra Bullock, Stallone. Okay. Sorry, I'm so silent. I'm trying to see where is Jack Black? Maybe he doesn't show up yet. There's Jack Black. The guy that Stallone grabbed his gun. Saw him like very briefly on the left. He's the one that Stallone grabbed his gun. That's Jack Black, I believe. And it's sad that Dennis Leary talks crap about the film, because I think he did a great job. Yeah, there's Jack Black. You barely see him, well, you barely saw him behind Dennis Leary, like head poking out a little bit. But I think Dennis Leary does a good job. He has that rapid fire speech, his rantings like he would do in some spots on MTV in his stand-up comedy act. And I thought he did a great job. You know. I want to run through the streets naked with jello all over my body, reading Playboy magazine because I might feel the need to. As a 47-year-old virgin, drinking banana broccoli shake scene, I'm a wiener. I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener. Again, I think it's much more merit than what the fuck Dennis Leary did. I mean, I like the ref. I mean, he worked with Sandra Bullock in what, 2 If by C or something? Yeah, I thought this was a fun... I never understood why this film gets crap. Now, of course, you have the group of bad guys, and one of them happens to be Jesse Ventura. Again, you notice that a lot of these bad guys... Yeah, there's Jesse Ventura getting his head patted with the girl on his lap. But I was saying, like, after the Edgar Friendly fight, I mean, like, in the underground lair, you don't see any of these guys again. And it's like, well, wait a minute, where the hell are they? Because some of them were saved for the finale where Stallone would fight. Either some of the... I know some of them because Jesse Ventura had a fight, but also I know Wesley Stipes, like, he wants to get people... But I think it's these guys that Stallone would have to fight. I'm like, why would you cut that out? Again, it's like, well, we could cut out in his time. But for an action film, don't cut out the action scenes in an action film. To me, that's just crazy. Like, people... Yes, at the end of the day, they want to see the action in an action movie. Yes, you hope the story, the characters, the humor works well, but... Come on now. It just said Ventura, I have to imagine. This is a time when Jesse Ventura was in WCW as an announcer. And he took some time off to do this film. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I think... After a year or so, he was fired because Hulk Hogan was coming in, and Hulk Hogan's... Yeah, this girl that Stallone's protecting. Stallone is, like, covering. and you see more in a little bit, like here, where they're hugging each other. That's supposed to be John Spartan's daughter. That's supposed to be John Spartan's daughter. I don't know if he found out here that it was her daughter, or later on. I don't know. And also here, okay, you see there's another guy with Wesley Stipes on the catwalk? That was supposed to be John Spartan. So John Spartan was supposed... That means... Think of this scene here. That means there was a scene with John Spartan talking with this girl who will be his daughter. Him fighting, going up to the catwalk. I don't know if they had a fight on the catwalk. But then they fall and they're hanging there. And that's where the picture of the two of them hanging. And then that's where Wesley Stipes tells them, hey, remember those guys who were dead? That you killed? They were dead already to begin with. But yeah, the girl that Stallone was covering, that was supposed to be John Spartan's daughter. And also here, Wesley Snipes comes out. He needs to find a car. Now his gun is not out. You see his gun is not out. Now this car here is a police officer car. It's a police officer car because that is the Zachary Lamb. He had killed Zachary Lamb, the older guy, Bill Cobb. They grounded me. So I guess after they did this, I would assume they would stop and go, oh my God, Zachary Lamb. I think here, like, they would see Zachary Lamb is dead. He'd probably tell him he went that way. And so then they'd go towards this. So that's why they added the ADR. He's in my car. But you think about, why would her car be there? Why would her car specifically be there? I mean, but... Because when they came down, they were actually pretty far away because they got taken to Edgar Friendly. But then, like, Wesley came out of a different spot, but it looked like he's supposed to be the same. I didn't, anyway. They cut stuff out. We're never going to see deleted footage. Is bullshit. Again, this film has, like, shootouts, car chases, fisticuffs, firefights. Stuff you would want in an action film. It's entertaining. It's slick looking. It doesn't look cheap at all. And it's done for pretty much for real. Real people doing real dangerous stunts. And this stuff just, it holds up, because you can't get more real than real. And this is the thing I was talking about, that when Wesley Stipes and Stallone are talking to each other, you never see Snipes' lips. You just hear dialogue of him going, remember those people you killed? They're already dead. Because that was ADR. Because that was said before in a scene that was deleted. I know Gene Siskel, he didn't like the film because he didn't like the action. But Gene Siskel of Siskel and Ebert would always... See, like here, you never see Stipes talking. It's all from, like, far away or behind his back. Because there's lines added later on. Again, The only time he speaks when he says, "You're dead, Spartan." The other times it's because it didn't added after the fact. This is another fun moment. "You Mickey Mouse piece of shit!" This is a great stunt as well with this car crash. "Brett, you Mickey Mouse piece of shit!" That's beautiful. Look at that. That's a great car jump and crash, especially going through the glass of the sign. Again, the director, or whether that's for the assistant director or whoever is responsible, they did a good job with that. I thought they did a rather good job, and it's a commendable job. Very nicely done. "You Mickey Mouse piece of shit." "Who you think it is, Hutchley?" Which is true. I mean, I wonder when this will be put into play. What, this foam thing? What is it? Secure foam. I wonder if that will ever be a part of a thing. Of course, they've always been talking forever, like, there'll be cars that will be self-driving. And I don't think that ever will be, because it's such a headache waiting to happen. Cars trying to drive themselves and just crashes and pile-ups and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, stun batons ain't gonna work against a fucking machine gun. But is Jack Black in this scene too? I think he's the guy on the left, the back of his head. Well, not anymore, that Stone got the gun from. And Jack Black, this was early in his career. I mean, this is before, well before School of Rock. I think this was before The Jackal, which he had a big part in, the Bruce Willis film. I know on YouTube he tells a story about, you know, there's a lot of times where he went and they didn't shoot him at all, like, just kind of, "Oh, you know, we'll get to you," we'll, you know, because he's an extra. So one time I think he slept in, and it's like, "What are you doing? We've been waiting for you." And so, like, everybody was waiting for this guy. I mean, he tells it more interesting than I do. But it's sad, like, no one, like, looks back at this film, or if they do, they just kind of, like, other than Stallone, like, other people just kind of mock it, or, "Oh yeah, that was a silly action film." I'm like, people got their heads up their asses, I swear. An evil Mr. Rogers. Like, they don't realize that fun escapism movies is what stand the test of time more. Whether they want to admit it or not. You know, people can talk as much as they want about, and I liked Citizen Kane. You know, I liked It's a Wonderful Life. But you know what? There's also a lot of people that love Demolition Man and watched it, or watched Bloodsport, or watched Commando, or Predator, or other stuff. And that doesn't mean they should... Well, no one really looks down the first Predator, but I'm just saying, like, other movies, they just act as if they're nothing to talk about, run home about. I just don't understand that. Really don't. So yeah, you have them fight a little bit, these bad guys. But I think there's a lot more to this stuff. Well, actually, it was probably when he got closer to where he needed to go that he had. I didn't. It makes me wonder, like, when did he fight Jesse Ventura? I don't know. Was it before the scene? Was it after this scene? I don't know. And were there other guys that he was fighting? Probably never know. But again, like here, I don't know if... I'm guessing maybe it would be here, because Stipes probably would have left the other bad guys here to kill Spartan, so maybe it was here that... now I'm trying to think on his face. Are there more bruises on there now than before? If I paid attention, it would showcase, because if he does have more bruises, like, compare after the... Oh, now his face is more cleaned up on that one bit. He had like these bruises, smudges on the right side of his face, and then one shot they were kind of gone. At the end, I don't know. Now, of course, that Jeffrey Dahmer joke doesn't work as well, because Jeffrey Dahmer, I believe, was killed in prison. So by the time, you know, this was a 2032, Jeffrey Dahmer would not have been alive. But at the same time, this is an alternate reality that in 1996 we had cryo prisons. So you have to think of it that way. This is an alternate reality. Again, in 1996 we had cryo prisons. Really, any sci-fi film is an alternate reality. Because the shit ain't happening in real life. It hasn't happened in real life. And time keeps on moving. See, I think that was one of the few things I had a little... Probably when I first saw it, is thinking he would go through this sort of bad guy jamboree before he got to Wesley Stipes. And that might have been the case, but that was cool. That's probably the closest Stallone will ever get to John Woo. Is that jumping out, two guns a-blazing. That, or the little bit he did in the first Expendables. When he's in the truck. Bah, 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 bah. That's like the closest of John Woo type he'll get to. But I think this is a great battle. It's a fun battle. Because you got a little bit of gunplay, then you got a little bit of the sci-fi tech. Where the fuck are you going? Stupid. And then, like a lot of villains, whether it be Batman, James Bond villains, Batman villains, they get cocky. They underestimate the hero, and they fuck around too much. I think you got a little bit of gunplay, you got this, you got the whole, what's that, laser thing Snipes gets? It's an entertaining battle with variety. fun variety to it, which helps a lot. Oh shit. Motherfuckers. There you go. Ah, there you go. Plus you get, I mean, for your hero, you get some badass moments too, like this test of strength. I mean, he's freezing a bit, but I think moments that make the audience go, yeah. And you still have that sense of humor, like Snipes going, my pity, drop your monkey ass down. I'll be goddamn. I did. It's like almost like an adventure film. Like he's swinging, everything's fine. He thinks he's fine, not quite. A certain series of events for Stallone to go through. This is what Stallone should have watched when he did Expendables 2, with the fight with Van Damme. Like seriously, in the fight with Jean-Claude Van Damme, he should have watched this ending. The way this fight, how intricate it is. And take the notes from the ending of Demolition Man. I think you have a... maybe Stallone thought he was doing it, but that was just one of the more disappointing fights in movies, was him and Van Damme in Expendables 2. So disappointing. Because it's like, Van Damme doesn't really get to do much shit. Like, look at Wesley Stipes, what he does to Stallone, compared to what Van Damme does in Expendables 2. Like, here, he was willing to let Snipes beat him up. Like, he... kind of that Rocky aspect. But I don't know if it's like, oh, I don't want to do it for Van Damme because it's Van Damme. I don't know. But Stallone used to know that you make the villain stronger the more you yourself get beaten up. You knew that. Now, I think even pieces of this fight was... I love this combo. 1, 2, 3, 4. But even some of this fight was cut down, because I think there's a moment where there's like electrical cables, and he shot, I think, Wesley Stipes' like crotch. And that's why there's a cutaway where you hear Wesley go, ah! So bits of that was cut out. But like, again, Stallone realized that, like in the Rocky films, the more you get beat up, the more people feel for you, and then it makes the comeback that much sweeter. But yeah, this is just a great destruction of the villain. Plus a callback to the beginning, lose my head if it wasn't attached. There you go. I mean, this is just a satisfying ending, and creative. So creative, and unique. Yeah, break the fucking head off. And just well directed. Nice usage of slow motion. And then it has this epic feel, crashing through the bars, coming up because of Frozen. Huge explosion. There you go. And then the slow-mo Stallone running. And Elliot Goldenthal's music, he did a good job in this. This bit here. I mean, that just has an epic feel to it. And you don't see that. Now, that effect shot's not the best. I never really cared for that shot. I would say that's the weakest shot of the movie. And it's such a weird angle, because like on the offshoot of the building, like over here. But the rest of it I thought looked rather good. I know we're coming to the end of the movie, but yeah, I think this film is a classic. And I would say underrated. People go, why you call it underrated? Because it still doesn't get the respect it deserves. I don't think it does. You know, people like Dennis Leary want to crap on it. People, you know, Sandra Bullock. Nobody else wants to talk about it. I think this film is very witty, very funny, very creative, ahead of its time. Well, ahead of its time. Prophesized a lot of stuff that would come up. And yeah, this girl behind Dennis Leary is supposed to be John Spartan's daughter. And you see Stallone's face. The reason John Spartan has this, like, bemused look on his face is that he talked to his daughter. And the girl that was standing next to Dennis Leary is supposed to be John Spartan's daughter. And probably some dialogue of, you know, catch up later. It's so strange they cut that out, though. And, you know, John Spartan had the right idea. You get a little clean, you know, a lot dirty, and somewhere in the middle. And let's say this, somewhere in the middle. Steve Cahan, that's the guy in Lethal Weapon at the beginning. Sorry, I'm going to pause a little bit. It's the ending. They go back. Stallone, Wesley, Sandra Bullock, Nigel Hawthorne was Cocteau, Benjamin Bratt, Bob Gunton. Glenn Shadix, that's the associate. That's the guy who was in Beetlejuice. It's weird that the older Bill Cobbs got below the younger Bill character, because the younger one is in it for like a minute, but the older Zachary Lamb is in it for more. See, I'm sure there's some performers I recognize, but going a bit too fast. But and this is a song by Sting, Demolition Man. Well, as it says there, and there was a music video too. And I mean, there's video games. There was one for, I think, Super Nintendo and Genesis. I know there's one for Super Nintendo, and there was I think it's Sega CD version. I think the Sega CD actually had new scenes with Stallone filmed specifically for the Sega CD version. There were toys. I remember the toys. And it was funny, some of the toys, I'm like, when the fuck was this in Demolition Man? Like, some of those toys look weird. I do remember the action figures for Demolition Man. And, again, I would not be surprised if Warner Bros. Looked at the box office and said, this is a bit disappointing. Because they're hoping for that $100 million hit. With the budget and marketing, it didn't get that, so which is sad. But yeah, I love this film. It still holds up. This was an easy, breezy. You watch the sit through. Went by quick. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's action-packed. The humor works, and even the commentary works. But it's not banging your head against the wall to tell you or lecture you. And to make sure. It has special features, a trailer, not even the teaser, but just the trailer, and the Marco Brambilla and producer Joel Silver commentary. That's it. No making of from Back to the Day, which there were making of from Back to the Day. No music video with Sting's music video, Demolition Man. No, again, interviews, no documentaries, no deleted scenes. So much more you could do for this. And they just did the bare minimum. It sucks. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And the anniversary for it went by. Because it was 93. So 93, 2003, 2013, 2018, that's like, what, that's the 25th? Yeah, 2018, 25th anniversary, nothing happens. Ridiculous to me. Fucking ridiculous. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.